What's going on? This is that part where we're doing a little driving. We're going to do some recording. So probably not going to be looking at the camera. I will say, pro tip. Majority of the time, the best camera you may own is probably your phone. Question I've run into a couple times over the last couple weeks. I want to go off grid. How do I go off grid? Can't you get me off grid? And there's a simple answer. If money is no object and you don't care what you spend to get there, yes, you can go off grid. They can come up with solutions. When you find out how much that solution costs, you may realize that that's not the effective, efficient, or best way to have a return on your investment. You know, if you're a prepper or worried about the apocalypse and want to be able to run your home, we can do that. Is that going to be the best case scenario for everyone's home? No. Do you want to disconnect and not get some of the incentives that are available to people out there? Probably not. There's just so much that goes into being off grid. You know, a majority of the pieces and parts that make going solar so affordable, so attractive, with a lower return on investment, isn't necessarily the storage solutions or the off-grid. You know, we live in a world right now where the incentives are what help. I talk about other people's money all the time. You know, let's use as much of other people's money to go solar as we can, or to make purchases in your everyday life if you can do that. You know, figure out how to get other investments to pay for other things. We make a joke around the office all the time. Like, if you buy enough AT&T stock, the dividends could actually pay your cell phone bill. Like, sounds pretty cool, right? So why would you in turn go solar and not sign up for a SMART program if it's available to you, or an SREC program if it's available to you, just so you can be like, hey, I went off grid? That doesn't really make much sense. You know, since you know, realistically, most of the people that we talk to about going solar, we're trying to talk about what their investment amount is, how much they're going to save by going solar, and by capping the cost of electricity for their home. You know, that's not necessarily the easiest thing to explain to everybody. In the version of all right, so would you spend $40,000 to save $80,000 over the next 25 years? And sometimes more. You know, how many other items could possibly double down on what you can make and by saving? I don't know. I mean, there's people, you know, they could gamble on the stock market and things like that, or just gambling in general, and they could have that lucky streak. But, you know, and you can talk to different investors that are like, oh, I can guarantee you this rate of return on your money. What if it actually was real deal, spend this, get that? Wouldn't you be a little more interested? You know, if you could actually put it on paper, not, all right, so let's guess which stock's going to be awesome this week. No, all right, so I just bought a power producer for my roof and it's going to make me this much power. This is my current cost of power. You know, if it produces me this much for this many years that it's under warranty for, that's an actual factual number that you can math. Would you be interested? If you're interested, still at this point, and watching and listening, hit us up, because that's something we can do for you. There's actual math to this. You know, when it comes down to it, if you want a storage solution, it's not necessarily part of your return on investment. The solar is. If you wanted to go buy a generator, that's awesome, you need gas. If you want a battery, your gas is your solar system. You know, and it replenishes it. But is that a return on investment? No. Can you still get that money back through solar? Sure, but that money's coming back through solar. Does your battery make your system more efficient? If it's a DC coupled battery, yes, it makes your system more efficient. We'll do another video on that later, because it's a tough one to just hit up. You know, fun fact, when you're on the road, you can't control lighting, so the sun does glare in. But it makes it a little more interesting. I guess my thoughts and rants for the day is, yeah, like, people can go off grid, and anybody that wants to go off grid or wants to go solar to go off grid, you're gonna spend more. Will you get some of that money back by going solar? Sure. My recommendation, and this is a strong recommendation, is like, go solar. If you want a battery or a storage solution, get a battery, and expand from there. As you're saving money by going solar, use that money to invest in your off-grid project. Just like, buying that hot rod that, are you buying the $200,000 hot rod that's all set up, done, somebody else completely did it? Or are you buying one that you're going to invest some money in over time and make it yours? I recommend you go about chunk it off as you're saving money and invest it back in your home. This is kind of something that I'll live and die by, realistically. Like, make some money, invest it in a way that it makes you more money, and do that again and again and again. And I can't stress that enough. Find ways to have your money make you money. And on that note, we out.